Everyone, welcome back. It's me, Teresa Callard Moore, reading you BridgeIT, the integrative medicine approach to the healthcare crisis in the United States. I am moving on to all the problems I've had figuring this out. I call this is chapter 10, Great Difficulties May Be Surmounted by Patience and Perseverance, which is a quote by Abigail Adams. If everyone seems to like the business model and the surveys support that people want this kind of program, why has it taken so long to get integrity off the ground? Big sigh. It has felt like being pregnant for 10 years. Integrity was the most creative thing I have ever done, besides being a mom. And I have had so many emotions about it during this whole process. The first obstacle was my husband. When I got off the plane from coming from Arizona, and he thought I would be excited about my career training, but I said, I'm going to start a holistic insurance company. Even though he loves me, he's a I'll believe it when I see it kind of guy. He says he grounds me, but I don't really need grounding. Anyway, he reminded me that we would need $10 million to start an insurance company, and I replied, the money will come. Yep. Still waiting on that front, but there were other obstacles. The day after I got home from Arizona in 2009, I went to visit my Aunt Sue, who's a business accountant. I showed her my idea. My husband thought this was a great idea, thinking she would show me it wasn't possible. After I showed her my diagrammed tablecloth, she said, don't show this to anyone else until you get a patent on it. And I said, you're not laughing at me. She said, I'm not laughing at you. This could work. Enter the land of attorneys. I found an intellectual property lawyer and a business lawyer to apply for a patent and incorporate the business. I wanted to set it up as a nonprofit because we don't plan on keeping the profits anyway. We were going to donate them to the 501c4 groups to help legislative and policy advocacy for the integrative medicine movement. There are many regulations, if you know anything about nonprofits, that prevented me from reinvesting in 501c4 groups. Therefore, I decided to incorporate and try to sell shares of the company to raise money. I had to create a name. Did you know that you cannot use the word health unless you're a physician? I didn't know that. So I went with Integrity, the holistic approach, and the website was myholisticapproach.com. Don't bother going there, it's not there anymore. In order to defend my patent, I had to go to do a public presentation. I invited local holistic practitioners and businesses to see what I had in mind. This was the best way to see if they thought it was a good idea, and one of the attendees was Kelly Dews. She had worked in the insurance industry her whole life until she got very ill. She found chiropractic and other holistic approaches helped her to recover and decided to buy a health food store. Her health food store was right next door to my cousin, who was a chiropractor. I didn't know her very well, but after my presentation, the next day she called me and said, I'm going to sell my store and invest in your business. I want to work for you in integrity. Wow. I couldn't believe it. Kelly was my first follower or my second nut. If you haven't seen that YouTube video, it's an awesome video about how to start a movement. It's hyperlinked in the book. I'll try to link it to the video too. Anyway, the biggest expense for me was to build the website. For me to build the website it was interactive, and it would have cost $65,000 in 2012. I was able to raise money along with the help of my family, Kelly, and my friends, but we didn't have that much. So the web designer talked me into starting the company as a holistic directory. The idea was we could raise the interest and funds by selling directory online with ads. 7 staff and 7 board members worked for free for 4 years trying to get integrity off the ground. They all believed in the idea, and they could see my determination. I was not giving up on this. Many local practitioners didn't want to buy advertising in a directory, and I didn't want to do advertising and become a directory. There are wonderful directories already in place, and I wanted to work with all of them, not compete with them. I wanted to build the discount membership. We had another barrier to starting the discount membership too. Do you know anything about the Stark laws or anti-kickback laws? Simply put, There are laws in the United States that prevent healthcare professionals from referring to other healthcare professionals or health centers that would cause a conflict of interest or put money in the original in back in their hands. Okay? So if Dr. Smith refers you to get an x-ray from the imaging place down the street that he owns, he can charge Medicare for his visit with you and get money for the x-ray. The kickback laws are there so that your health care is not compromised by the potential financial gain from his referral. For example, if Dr. Smith refers you to Dr. Jones, the dentist, who's in the same building, that seems really helpful and convenient. However, it might be better for all of you to see a different dentist in your area for your health benefit. Therefore, if he refers to Dr. Jones, then Dr. Jones reduces the rent on Dr. Smith's office. This kind of kickback happens in other sales industries all the time. But because we have a for-profit health industry, these laws were necessary to protect your healthcare management. These same laws would apply to the Integrity Network, and I hired another very expensive attorney to help me structure the discount membership to comply with these laws because it is based on networking, but not so much kickbacks. Anyway, for example, I can't allow any providers to join for free because that would be considered a kickback if they refer you to join Integrity and then I refer you to them. It comes down to me applying for an opinion letter from the Office of the Inspector General and the Department of Health and Human Services, which I tried to do on my own, but they said that would cost $15,000. That was the first thing to do. That's my first thing on my to-do list when I fund this project. Then we need about $200,000 if we grow it organically and $800,000 to go from there. I would like to do a national launch, which would be about $2 million. In the meantime, I found out Canada doesn't even have stark anti-kickback laws because they have a universal health care. So then I wondered if we could start there, raise enough interest and money, and then launch it here in the United States. So that's possible. I've spent over 10 years putting all this together, along with a handful of people who believe in integrative medicine the way that I do. They say our failures make us stronger. I had to face that I wasn't able to raise more money than our directory idea, and our directory idea had not been what the market needed or wanted. I decided to close our business in 2016, and all of my friends and family lost all the money that they invested. I was left with bank loans of my own and sobbed when I made the decision. But it was clear to me that one social worker in Flint, Michigan, that no one had ever heard of could not do this alone. So I took my ideas to the streets and looked for businesses or leaders in the field who would want to work with me on this. I approached over 30 businesses, insurance companies, and leaders in the field to no avail. My blogs write the story about some of the crazy things I tried to do to meet these people. But now I'm bringing it to the people. That's the end of this chapter, and it pretty much is self-explanatory. I'm just telling you what I've been through to try to make this happen. And you tell me, is this what you want? And I'll keep trying to figure out how to do it. Thanks again for listening. If you like what we're doing, give me a like and feel free to subscribe so you keep up with the book and our other ideas, what we're doing to try to help you and turn this healthcare crisis around in the United States. Thanks, guys.